Instructor Sabal was in charge of the largest group of multi-world children in the entire school. Students from all across the galaxy attended his classes, learning not just academic knowledge, but also about each other's cultures and experiences. It was a place of unity and understanding, until the arrival of Julie, the first human child to enroll. Her presence alone created an immediate and unexpected problem. Julie was an enigma to the other students. Earth, the planet she hailed from, was shrouded in mystery and legend. Some called it a Deathworld. Others believed it to be completely uninhabitable. This stigma seemed to be why Julie often ate alone, tucked away in a shadowy corner of the common area. Instructor Sabal had watched her efforts to connect with the other students, only to be met with fear and avoidance. He found it unfair, but he also understood the reasoning behind their hesitation. To change their perspective, he devised an assignment that would put everything into perspective. Standing before his class, Instructor Sabal issued the challenge. In 3 weeks, each of you will present a video about your homeworld. Your presentation must highlight both geological and biological dangers that exist there. If you share a homeworld, you may work together. Be warned, however. This project is 40% of your final grade, so I expect work worthy of that weight. Julie, being the only human in the school, had to work alone. She toiled over her project, compiling information and stressing the many perils of Earth. Presentation day arrived, and Julie sat nervously in her seat, eager yet apprehensive about the dangers her classmates would reveal about their own worlds. She was the third to present, so she had the opportunity to observe the first 2 projects before her turn. The first presentation was on a planet called Berry. The 3 students from that world proudly introduced their video, which focused on a creature called the Forer. The video depicted a small, 4-legged furry creature with a bushy tail. One of the presenters excitedly pointed to the screen, directing attention to a demonstration where a piece of cloth was dangled before the creature. The Forer let out a hiss and, in a flash, razor-sharp claws extended from its paws, slashing at the cloth with deadly precision. "If that had been your arm," the presenter boasted, "you would have been cut to the bone." The class murmured in awe, a few clapping in approval. Pride swelled in the presenters' faces as they returned to their seats. However, Julie sat with a furrowed brow, visibly confused. Instructor Sabal took notice and asked, "Julie, do you have a question?" Still looking perplexed, Julie hesitated before responding, but Instructor wasn't that just a house cat. A smattering of laughter spread through the classroom. Instructor Sabal raised a hand for silence, though a ghost of a smile crossed his lips. "No, Julie, that animal is a vicious beast. It would be highly inappropriate to keep it in a household, unless you valued your life very little." Julie simply nodded, her confusion deepening as she awaited the next presentation. The second group stepped forward, introducing their topic, Death from the Skies. With dramatic background music, they described the ever-present threat that loomed over their homeworld. Winged predators that could strike at any moment, rending flesh from bone and inciting terror at the mere shadow they cast upon the ground. The video then zoomed in on the terrifying creature in question, a brightly colored bird with a curved beak. "Now, claws are one thing," the presenter said, "but watch the strength of this creature's maw." On the screen, the bird clamped its beak around a hard-covered seed. A loud crack echoed through the room as the shell shattered, revealing the soft insides. The class erupted in gasps and exclamations. "Did you see that? What if that had been a finger?" a student called out. Julie blinked in disbelief before finally waving at the monitor. "But that looks just like a parakeet." Silence filled the room. Whispers of, "she's just jealous," and "how rude" could be heard. Instructor Sabal frowned, sensing that his plan was backfiring. Clearing his throat, he said, "Julie, please come up and present your project." Julie's eyes darted around the room nervously. "Instructor, I fear I may have misunderstood the assignment," she admitted. "I thought we were supposed to highlight the dangers of our planet, not just our pets." A student next to her suddenly stood up and announced, "She said her 4-year-old cousin has a parakeet." Sabal's stern gaze bore into Julie. "Give your presentation now, or I will contact your parental figures, and you will receive a 0. With reluctance, Julie approached the front of the class. Every eye in the room bore into her, some mocking, others impatient. If she wasn't an outcast before, she certainly would be after this. She sighed and began, "My presentation is about the dangers of my homeworld, Earth." The video screen displayed an image of a blue planet, slowly rotating. "In the north of my home continent, we have creatures that fear no predator." The next image showed a squat beast standing on a snowy landscape. Suddenly, it erupted from the snow, launching itself at an unseen enemy. The class collectively screamed. Julie paused the video. "What is that thing?" A student shouted, pointing a trembling finger at the screen. "That's a wolverine," Julie replied, unfazed. "They're aggressive and will take on animals much bigger than themselves." "No!" The student clarified, his voice shaking. "What is all that white stuff?" Julie blinked. "You mean the snow?" "Snow?" The student sounded out the foreign word. "What is snow?" Julie hesitated before answering. "It's frozen rain." A horrified gasp rippled through the classroom. "Your rain freezes in the air? Not in a lab? Just outside?" Julie simply nodded. She continued her presentation, showing footage of a wolverine standing up to a grizzly bear. Another student shrieked, "What is that?" Julie frowned. "The bear? Those things are all over Earth. All over." The student visibly paled. "How are you even alive?" Julie chuckled. "Oh, bears are bad, but there are worse things." Instructor Sabal, shaking in his chair, whispered, "You must be lying." With a small smirk, Julie fast-forwarded to a clip of calm ocean waters. 71% of my planet is covered in water," she explained. "Inside you'll find fish, crabs, seahorses, squid." The class marveled at the beauty, but the admiration turned to horror when a massive great white shark burst onto the screen, attacking a seal. "Do it." A student who resembled an anthropomorphic seal sat frozen, mouth agape. "Stop it! Stop it! Stop it!" Instructor Sabal shrieked. Julie feigned innocence. "But instructor, I haven't even mentioned vampire bats, crocodiles, lions, snakes, scorpions, or—" "Stop!" Sabal gasped, clutching his heart. Dewitt whispered, "How? How did your people even survive?" Julie's smile widened. "Because the most dangerous creature on Earth is humans." Silence. By lunch, Julie sat alone again, certain her presentation had doomed her socially. But soon, Dewitt approached, eyes wide with admiration. "You're awesome! Have you ever seen a shark up close?" One by one, other students gathered, bombarding her with questions. As she walked back to class, surrounded by eager listeners, Instructor Sabal smiled. It may not have gone as planned, but it had worked.